I've got 5:30. We're going to get started tonight. It's 5:30 on November 4th, and this is a public meeting of the West Bend Joint School District Number 1 School Board. More than 24 hours prior to this meeting, notice of the time, place, date, and subject matter of the meeting was posted in each school building, the entrance doors at the Education Service Center, and at the West Bend Community Memorial Library. A copy was also sent to the Daily News, WBKV, Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, and other media sources who have requested notice of our meetings. Deb, can you confirm this meeting was properly posted?
Yes, it was.
Thanks. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We do recognize a quorum tonight. Kurt Rebholz, Nancy Justman, and Tani Schmidt are excused absent tonight. And Paul, I'm going to look at you, and would you like to be our acting clerk tonight?
Sure.
Lots of responsibility, but thank you for doing that.
Is that a problem?
And hopefully the board has had a chance to review our agenda. And with that, I will move to approve tonight's agenda.
Second.
Any questions? Motion and a second on the agenda. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None. We have our agenda tonight, and we're going to have some fun recognizing the East girls and West boys cross-country teams who qualified for state. And so we'll kick that off with Aaron and then follow it up. Or excuse me, we'll kick it off with Kevin, then follow it up with Aaron.
I'd like to thank President Ongert, the Board of Education, Superintendent Kierkegaard for honoring our cross-country runner who's here tonight with us, who made it to state. At this time, I'd like to ask Coach Sanborn to come up and tell us a little bit about Allison.
Why don't you stand right here and face your coach? That way you're on TV.
You're on, yeah. I knew they were going to do that to you, Allison. So. Thank you. I'm Rob Sanborn. I'm the head coach of the West Bend East Girls Cross Country Team. I would like to introduce Allison Klosterman. This is the first time Allison has stood in front of you. She's a senior. It's her 4th year of running cross country. As a freshman, she mostly ran JV. After that first season, she dedicated herself to becoming a stronger and faster runner. She ran in the winter, she ran in track in the spring, and she ran in the summer. During her sophomore year, her hard work began to pay off, and she became our top runner. She set the West Bend East Girls sophomore record for the 5K, but just missed qualifying for the state meet by 13 seconds. Allison continued to work hard and believe in herself. During her junior year, she was again our top runner, set the West Bend East junior class 5K record, but again, just missed qualifying for the state meet by 8 seconds. Allison continued to work hard and believe in herself. During 2019, Allison's track season was cut short, and we weren't sure if she was going to run cross country. But with a lot of persistence and determination, Allison once again joined the cross country team. As she stood on the line at the sectional meet a couple weeks ago, she knew this would be her last chance to qualify to run at the state meet. Allison did not have her best time at this meet, but it was, by far, her best race. She was in 11th place with a half-mile left, and she needed to pass 2 girls to qualify for the state meet. Once again, she showed her persistence and determination and passed 3 girls to secure the spot at the state cross-country meet. Last Saturday, Allison ran at the Ridges in Wisconsin Rapids. She finished 134th out of 189 runners with a time of 20:47. After she finished, she said that the race was so much fun. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Allison. Awesome. Congratulations.
All right. I am Erin Felber. For those of you who I haven't had the opportunity to meet, I'm the West Athletic Director, and I have the great honor of introducing Coach Scott Hammer, who is in his 19th year as head coach of the boys West Cross Country team. And I want to congratulate you on your 8th state appearance. So quite impressive, but I will let Coach Hammer take it away. And all of you boys get to come up here in the front.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Aaron. It's a motley crew if I've ever seen one. Well, on behalf of the West Boys Cross Country program, thank you for inviting us in here today and giving these guys the recognition they deserve. You might say that 2019 was a bit of a rebuilding year for us. Last year, we graduated 7 out of our top 10 runners. So we knew going into this season that there was going to be a lot of new young runners on the varsity team. Well, rebuilding year or not, this team was very committed in carrying out the tradition of the teams that came before them and qualifying for that state meet. To their credit, this group of guys, along with 28 other teammates, really rallied to that cause this year. They rose to the challenge. There were 120 Division I teams across 10 different sectionals fighting for those state positions. Our team finished second in our respective sectional, thus stamping another trip to the WIA state cross-country meet. This was incredibly important to this team. As Aaron mentioned, to continue this tradition, this is the 8th consecutive year that this program has advanced to the state meet as a team. This meet's experience for the team is incredibly important. As you'll find out, they're a young group of guys, and we have big plans for them in the years to come. So I'd like to introduce you to this year's state qualifying team. Guys, if you'd just raise your hands when I call your name. Our senior captains, Kevin Lemons and Eli Eichner. Our juniors, Grant Peterson, Nick Lemansky. Our sophomores, Joe Prosch, Sam Schreiber, and Kyler Fuchs. And our freshmen, Ben Bast, Nathan Butters, Brady Davidson, and Chase Pickett. You guys can smile, it's okay. All right, so thank you for recognizing these guys. They truly deserved. Thank you.
Congratulations to both coaches and all of our athletes. Anytime you guys go off and compete at a sectional or a state, you're representing obviously your school and the whole community, and we're very, very proud of you, so congratulations. Is there anybody wishing to address the board tonight for public participation? If not, we are going to move on with our agenda tonight, but this is typically when people who come as guests for recognition get up and leave. So if you would like to get up and leave, that's okay, but if not, you're welcome to stay. But thank you very much for coming, and congratulations. Thank you, Coach. Okay, we will move on with our agenda tonight, and first action item is our consent agenda, which has minutes of the October 28th regular board meeting, revenues and expenses in the aggregate July 2019 through October 2019, out-of-state, out-of-country field trip requests, and school site safety drills.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Any questions, comments on consent agenda tonight? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Consent agenda passes. Our action items tonight is a resolution authorizing the issuance and establishing parameters for the sale of a taxable tax and revenue anticipation promissory note for cash flow purposes in the amount not to exceed $2.5 million. And we'll have Andy Sarno explain that to us.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the board, Superintendent Kierkegaard. Thank you for the opportunity. This is something that many school districts in Wisconsin partake upon. I shared last week our quarterly revenues and the expenditures in the aggregate, which showed a deficit of about $5.5 million since we started the fiscal year in July, which money in and money out doesn't always flow the same as it does with regular payrolls for our own homes and whatnot. So proceeding with the second year of First Bank Financial Center offering us a line of credit in the amount of $2.5 million. Last year we had $3.2 million. We did spend a little bit of fund balance last year. However, cash flow projections are showing us we don't need quite that amount. So we're doing this on a little bit more cautious of a level. It does not impact the issuance amount, which is estimated to be about $3,000. unbelievably low amount of money. Allison Buchanan at Quarles and Brady, they handle all the resolution. This is all done very legally. There's signatures tonight. There'll be signatures here in the next week when we receive a packet about an inch thick with a little bit more detailed information and whatnot. But looking at a prime interest rate of 4.75%, which unless it was banks to banks borrowing each other money, it wouldn't be much lower than that, which sounds a little bit funny because you can get an interest rate lower than that for a longer period of time. But for a line of credit, borrowing in a short term like we do, and we only probably need the money maybe for a long weekend a couple of times during the year, it's pretty low cost to do so. Happy to entertain questions if you have any.
And I think you answered both of them, but I'll just be sure. This is something similar to what we did last year, you
It's
said, correct?
exactly what we did last year,
Right.
thank you.
And then also, this is something that if we need to borrow the money, but then we pay it back, is that capacity there again to borrow, that 2.5 million remains?
Exactly. So if we borrowed $1 million next week and we repaid that when our cash flow became whole again and we needed to reborrow at some point in the future, it's there for up to 364 days.
Thank you.
I move to accept the resolution authorizing the issuance of a taxable promissory note for cash flow purposes in an amount not to exceed 2.5 million.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any more questions, discussion on this? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Motion carries.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Our next action item tonight is a deletion of Board Policy 322, which is school day, regular school hours.
Good evening. You've had a little more time to look over the policy 322, and I'm wondering if there are any further questions about that tonight.
I will tell you that our Board Policy 151, which is the formulation, adoption, and deletion of policies, states that a policy can be deleted after consideration at 2 board meetings and the approval by a majority vote of those present at the second meeting. So oftentimes we get questions, can we do this on a second reading if not everyone is here? But as far as deleting a policy, we can do it tonight with a majority vote, by a majority vote by those of us who are here. So we can vote on this tonight.
And just a reminder, this is something that we brought up for deletion because we think it's subsumed within other board policies, correct?
Correct.
I move to approve the deletion of Board Policy 322, school day, regular school hours.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions, discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Our next action item is course overview documents.
So last week, I spoke with you briefly about a revision to course overview documents. Just a reminder that the original course overviews are approved in August. And because we have a revision to the communication component and have revised the documents to really align more with the instructional goals, we brought them forward for revision and approval by the board since they were originally approved by the board. Were there any questions about that document?
Seeing none, I will move to approve the revision of the course overview for 7th grade social studies.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions, further discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Thank you, Laura. Our next item tonight is up for discussion, no action tonight, but this will serve as a second reading for revised board policies 222.3, 225.1, 260, 381, 333, 335, and 341.1. And obviously, you can see in the agenda and online what those policies are. We talked about these a week ago, and we cannot vote on these tonight because we don't have the full board with us, but we can certainly discuss them if we'd like tonight.
So last week when we met, we went through each one item by item. And so I would like to just turn it over to you if there are any questions, if we could go in order. So if there are any questions for 222.3 and 225.1. How about for, yep, See the word deleted? Okay, great. We had one question last time about a word that needed to be deleted, and that's been
Okay.
taken care of. That word was report. 260, person in charge. Any questions on that one? .281, controversial issues. I'm sorry, did I say 281, 381? I apologize.
381.
Laura, just to remind, me, I believe this is one that we align closer to the WASB standard policy, correct?
That's correct.
Great, thank you.
How about 333, district programs and activities? Seeing none. 335, development and sale of curriculum materials. The last one for consideration tonight is 341.1, and excuse me, I shouldn't have said consideration for discussion tonight. Is 341.1, our K-12 reading program. Any questions on that one? So these will come forward at our next regular board meeting again, and at that time, we'll be asked to have you make a motion whether you approve the new policies or the revisions to the policies, or send them back to policy for further consideration. The
Great.
next, sorry?
Well, and as we go into the next one here, is this a first reading of these?
We
This
brought,
is first reading of 341.11 reading program evaluation, 341.3 virtual program, and 341.33 district wellness. So tonight will be our first reading of these, for deletion of these three policies. Yep. Go ahead, Laura.
okay, so the 341.11, the reading program evaluation, the policy previously discussed tonight, which is the K-12 reading program, that one talks about the program needing to be evaluated on a frequent basis, and the policies are redundant once the new one is revised. So because of that, it's not necessary to have two policies, which are somewhat, quite a bit repetitive. The next one is the virtual program. When the policy that as written was put into place, it was about the time virtual programs were just starting across the state and within our district. And so the policy as written is no longer relevant, and that's why it's recommended for deletion. The next one, district wellness. The policy as written is not necessary to continue in the same regard. We will have policies on nutrition and health education coming forward at a later date, but this district wellness policy as written is no longer pertinent.
Okay.
Questions on any of those?
Any questions, discussion on these? These were recommended through policy, and kind of go in order of how we've just approved some of the other ones, or will hopefully approve, and then these kind of follow that they aren't needed anymore. But we'll have a second reading on these at our next board meeting and potentially a vote.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Superintendent Kierkegaard.
Well, government students, you won the lottery tonight because this is probably the shortest meeting in the history of the West Bend School District. And so you'll be out of here in 5 minutes. And so congratulations on picking the right night to attend a school board meeting. Just a couple quick comments. One is congratulations to the foundation and the gala that occurred on Saturday. I know we'll have a more extensive report in December, but it certainly seemed like a success, and I believe everybody who was there thoroughly enjoyed it. So congratulations, and again, thank you for all your hard work in promoting the kids of our school district and all the benefits that we receive as a result of the gala. And the last, or the foundation. The last comment I would have is that board members, on the 18th, we have a committee of the whole. And on that committee of the whole, we have several things on the agenda, but we also are going to start the discussion about our facilities, about our enrollment. I met with most of the cabinet today. We're going to meet on a regular basis to try to get those questions answered, to try to come up with some additional questions, put it in a format that is very easy for everyone to digest the material. And so what our goal will be to provide you the information about the facilities so that you can then go forward with the direction of the district and how do you want everything to look and how, so before we do that, though, we really want to give you the facilities background, the enrollment background, not so much that it'll be different than what I presented last Monday, but it'll talk a little bit about where are all the open enrolled kids going? Where are those kids who are on the diagonal? If I said there was 100 of them last year that were in seats, but they're not in this seat this year, where did they go? And so we'll try to get you some enrollment data, and then we're going to break it down by Rolfs, the earliest kids, then 4K, and then the elementary schools, and then Badger, or Silverbrook and Badger in the high school, just to look at all the facilities. But if there are any specific topics that you would like us to address, if you give us a little bit of a heads up, we'll try to have those available, if not for Monday the 18th, but for December 2nd. So thank you, and we look forward to what should be an excellent community discussion on facilities and going forward.
Great. Any questions for Superintendent? As he mentioned, we have our Committee of the Whole on November 18th, another Committee of the Whole on December 2nd, and our regular board meeting in the month of December is on December 9th, and of course, all those meetings will be at 5:30 right down here. Any other follow-up items or questions, comments? Because Mr. Fisher volunteered to be our clerk tonight, I think he should sign all of these papers. I didn't bring a pen, so don't come to me, but
Happy to do so.
before we adjourn, I seriously don't have a pen, but any of our administrators in the back and our board members can sign your papers. And with that, I'll motion to adjourn.
Second?
Any questions? All in favor, please say aye.
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 That was the incentive of coming, right? I'm just gonna